everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Cody Santiago. I'm the Director of the York County Office of Emergency Management. We're going to have a lot of fun in a little bit, but first we want to take some time to remember someone that we were pretty close to in this office, and Bill will talk a little bit more about that, but we felt like tonight was a good opportunity to do this because we have the right people here who most of you, if not all of you, knew Mike Fetrow. So we figured rather than have a separate event, we can share with you why we wanted to do this, and we can share this opportunity with you all too. The purpose of dedicating this is because we really took a lot of time and energy even before I got here in spring of last year. This team had really put a lot of thought into if we were going to upgrade this room, which is used for disasters and exercises like tonight, what would it look like and what would we want? And so thankfully, the York County Commissioners, Commissioner Hoke's here tonight. Thankfully, the York County Commissioners, the Records Improvement Committee, Constellation Energy, and then we use the PEMA grant for this as well as the York County Solid Waste Authority. They all chipped in to help us pay for the video wall. We already invested some money in our TVs, and we're missing some capabilities in this room for a long time. We weren't able to teleconference in this room. If you wanted to teleconference, you had to take the phone off the hook, lay it down, lay a microphone next to it, and then teleconference that way with a little mini camera on top of a computer. So we're now in the 21st century, thanks to those groups that I mentioned earlier. You'll notice that each table has a mic for every other position. We have speakers, so now we can hear. It shouldn't be an issue anymore. And we also have cameras, and it all connects not just in this room, but also in the situation room here, the amateur radio room down the hallway, and in the front training room as well. So with those upgrades, you'll see we did other things like raise the lights and change the signage and things like that. But we really thought the finishing touch would be to dedicate this very updated emergency operations center to our most recent Office of Emergency Management Director who passed in May, Mike Fetrow, and we thought the finishing touch would be to give him a sign to remember him every time we're in this room, and to let him know that him and Kay Carmen and Bob Straw, they really set the foundation for what we do today. So I'm going to hand it over to Bill, and he's going to talk a little bit about Mike. Yes.
All right. Well, like Cody said, it was very important to do this here. And those that knew Mike, he started out in the Springs Ferry Fire Company many moons ago as a team, running fire and EMS there. He got the nickname Shadow there because he was following everybody around trying to learn, as a teenager. They gave him that nickname Shadow, and it stuck with him right to the end. So that was kind of cool. He started here in about 2000, and back then it was him, the director, the deputy director, and that was it. And so he basically did it all. He did the nuclear planning, the SARA planning, the municipal planning, all the school plans, all that stuff went on during that time between that small group, and they made it work, and they did it. But they knew that this field was growing, so they knew that, and they started planning, and they brought on additional people to help. And that's our office as it grew and grew, and it went pretty quickly because at that point, the director left, Bob Straw left, Kay was made the director, and then Mike was made the deputy director. So in like a year's time, because of all his knowledge and expertise, they chose him to be the deputy director. He was instrumental in a lot of things while he was in that position. He dealt with the hazmat team transition, where it was owned by the Fire Chiefs Association. He worked closely to get that under the county fold and that whole process during that time. And of course, dealing with all the other things that went on during that time, 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, and numerous snowstorms and all the usual stuff that goes on, and he was here for all that. He was made the director in 2010 when Kay Carmen retired, and then of course it continued. Tropical Storm Lee, Hurricane Irene, floods, tornadoes, snowstorms, you can rattle them off. A lot of people are probably here for some of that stuff. So, and of course the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. So he was instrumental in getting a lot of that going, and we got the room kind of where we wanted it to be. And Shen, he kept calling us the next generation EMA, next gen EMA. He was taking it off of next gen 911. He said, you guys can be next gen 911, he can be next gen EMA. So he knew that, we had what it took to get us where we needed to be.